You are listening to CrossTalk, a safe place to discuss addiction, recovery, harm reduction, and everything in between. Support for this podcast comes from the Kentucky Opioid Response Effort and Advocates of Recovery. Content and production by the team at Turning Point Recovery Community Center. Now, buckle up and get ready for the show.
Welcome everyone to CrossTalk Recovery, the recovery podcast that supports all forms of recovery. I'm Matt Lewis, and I'm here with
Sam Peterson.
Darren Scott.
All right.
Welcome, Darren.
New employee time.
Employee,
All right.
the newbie.
Yeah.
The newbie. Darren
Freshly stolen from another recovery center.
I'm so excited.
We like to do that. Steal people. Good people.
Yeah.
You know, from other programs. No. You guys work together at Neartown, right?
Well, no. Actually,
You can tell him I can't.
No, we didn't work together. Sam came over to fill in while one of our employees was sick, and Sam pretty much I was probably the first person in the 3.1 program, and Sam took me through the 12 and 12 of the Alcoholics Anonymous. It was very intimate. It was very intense, and so that was a great time for Sam and for me, I guess.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, man. I was
So
working
you guys knew each other even a whole nother level than I even knew about.
Right. Like, so, you know, when I went to work at Neartown, the rest of the guys had let their peer support expire. So I was the only peer support specialist at the time, which means I pretty much did all the 3.1 classes. And
since I was there for 4 months,
yes. So we got to know each other really well.
Yeah. There was a lot of people
awesome.
that came in and went through the program and then left, and I was still there. So Sam and I got to be be close. I mean, you're pretty intimate when you're going through the 12 and 12 and really expunging a lot of stuff. So it was very intense.
That's something I've never done, is gone through like the 12 and 12 book. I mean, I've read a lot of those chapters, but to like go work through them.
Yeah. We pretty much did that together, you know, because I hadn't had that experience myself other than 6 and 7. Right.
Right. Well, that was the first time I was introduced to it, because we were made to get into it, and then it was such a easier to read and expounded on 6 and 7, which in the big book is only like one paragraph.
Yeah.
So I like went back and read the other ones, but to like work it, like what is that like?
I mean, it was just like we would expand on Bill, and this is Bill W's opinion, because it's not. That's the only person that had anything to do with the 12 and 12.
And one of the things about that is like they've had several, I know a lot of people don't like the 12 and 12, but they had several years in between the big book and the 12 and 12. So there was a lot of experience. A lot of people came into recovery, into meetings, joining meetings, and so there was a lot of time in between that for people to actually experience.
Experience, strength, and hope in there.
Especially with like the nuances of the program, like, it's in the big book, but it doesn't really fully explain. I feel like the 12 and 12 fills in those gaps.
And not a lot of people know this, but also if you look in the table of contents, under each one of the headings, each step and each tradition, there's a little paragraph that is not in either the material in the 12 and 12 or in the material in the big book. So I always, whenever I'm reading it myself or going through it with somebody, I always read the table of contents, and you have to read it like bullet points because it's a paragraph, but none of it goes together. Each one of the things in there, like a bullet point when you read it, is interesting stuff that's, like I said, not found in any of the material.
Yeah, and we also did the what was that other class we would do in the booklet?
It was
Wash Your Ass class is what I always call it.
Yeah, some kind of Hazelden.
Yeah, it was something.
Hazelden Betty Ford.
Me and Betty, we like that,
But yeah, so we would do, in the morning we would do 12 and 12, or the afternoon, and then the other time we would talk about the, whatever that book was.
Yeah. A lot of times, because I was there for so long, that Sam would kind of not guide me, but give me these looks to start talking about stuff to kind of trigger other people to share, because a lot of times, especially with peer support, you share a little bit of your story to get other people engaged. And so we had plenty of time to get through that book and also get to know each other, because expunging our own stuff. But when people would come through and just sit there and wouldn't, do anything, we would start to do things that would kind of cause them to open up and
Bring
share.
them out of their shell.
And it was a good thing though.
And we're from the same neck of the woods.
Yeah.
The town he grew up in is not far from the town I grew up in either. So,
yeah,
we were pretty much neighbors. Yeah.
Well, they're close to paradise, huh?
Absolutely. More like Paradise Lost.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Why were you there so long?
So I guess when I was there, well, I was sick, I guess one of the reasons is it was underneath still under the COVID umbrella. And so you could kind of, my insurance company would allow me to be there, but there was a program that was one of the therapists was doing, and it was an EMDR. And to sign on to that, I think it was like a 12-week something. So I had began to do that. And so that was one of the reasons. But I also had some things go on whenever I was in treatment. Some people tried to identity theft me and then burned in my door, broke in, and stole everything but the dirty laundry. And so they tried to keep me in treatment as long as possible so I didn't have to go back to that. And during that time is how I got connected with Nathan, because being a veteran, they started to hook me up with him to get me affiliated and kind of familiar with the area to transfer all of my benefits up here in transition to move out of where I was into Paducah. Also with the intention of working in recovery, there at Neartown. I've worked in recovery other places and other facilities, but it was a transition. It took about 4 months. They didn't really want me to go back to my apartment.
No.
So.
Yeah. Well, that was nice of them. It probably wasn't a good place for you, and dealing with all that.
Yeah. Still in court over a lot of it right now. Still almost 4 years later, we're still in court over it. So, yeah.
Wow. Just like what they stole and how they used your identity?
Well, I think the fact that one of the guys that was caught admitted to all of it and then turned other people in. So getting all of them rounded up, getting them through their proceedings to convict them, and then restitution hearing is the next thing. So 3 years later, we're still in the process of kind of doing that.
Okay. Well, it's a lot. Let's go a little further back.
It is.
Let's go.
It is.
Let's go back in time before you got into treatment. Tell us a little bit about your story, what you'd like to share. So
let's see. What do I want to share?
I just want to get to know you a little bit. I don't know you like Sam does, and you're at Turning Point, but you're at the Mayfield location, which is awesome. And so I would like to get to know you a little better, and hopefully our listeners.
Yeah.
So we don't have time really for my story, but I will say that just like everybody,
highlight it.
Yeah, just like with everybody, there's drugs and alcohol, but way before the drugs and alcohol, I guess I had been broken way before that, before I was even, familiar or even old enough to know what drugs and alcohol were. So my story is more mental health. I had a lot of trauma growing up, and that's how I'll leave that. And instead of going into detail, but I had a lot of trauma, and so at a young age, I was doing things to basically combat that, like you would with drugs and alcohol, self-harm. Acting out. I fought so much that they were going to make me take over, years of school. Got into martial arts to kind of give me a focus and to have an outlet for all of that stuff. Found out I was really good at martial arts. And so that's one of the things that's kind of been not necessarily a hobby, but an outlet, to kind of a good energy release and stuff. So, but yeah, I have mostly mental health in my story. So I guess like in 2012, after a bazillion convictions and all of that, I have a huge. I've got about 12 pages of my rap sheet. Just found out when you all, was checking my background. So my sponsee was like, when you were telling me about that, all I really cared about was yours was longer than mine. This is 2 pages longer than mine. So I was like, phew, somebody else has got one longer than me. Yeah. But yeah, I'm older, so I have experienced a little bit longer time to be in addiction and acting out and to be in the system. So I guess in 2012, I was, I'd been homeless for a while. I lived in a storage building. I lived in my car until I no longer had a car. Couch surfing, things like that. And they opened up the Pennyroyal Center over in those counties over there on the other side. In Hopkinsville, they had opened up a Pennyroyal Veterans Center, and I was probably the fifth person. Actually, I was there before anybody else, begging on when they were trying to open, and they hadn't opened yet. They let me in and talked to me about it, but when they did open, I was like the fifth person there. So being there through being homeless, being a veteran, mental health, and then addiction. At the end of that, I started to, basically, I'd never been introduced to therapy or counseling or knew anything about recovery, really. I'd been in drug court and things prior to that. I guess that was the beginning of my, using as far as getting caught and having, a bunch of episodes with the police. But in 2012, I guess, is when I started to get recovery. It was probably the longest stint of recovery that I had, and during that time, because of just my age and experience, I guess I became a RA, a resident advisor for veterans. I started going back to school. I graduated over at Hopkinsville with my associates, but I worked for the VA over there for a veteran support service in the sports center, and just worked with veterans trying to get them their benefits, helping them to get better. And still, that was mostly still not drugs. Hadn't started in the field of recovery yet as far as working in it.
We'll be right back.
Did you know that recovery from substance use disorder and mental health go hand in hand? That is why the caring and compassionate mental health professionals at Four Rivers Behavioral Health in Paducah are here to help you find your balance. They are proud of you for making the changes necessary to live a healthier life and would love to see you reach your full potential. Give them a call at 270-442-7121 or stop by the downtown location at 425 Broadway in Paducah, Kentucky.
Hello, everybody. You want to know something? My biggest issue with meetings is, despite their name, they are never about me. Here at Turning Point, all of our meetings are for you and about you. We have meetings at least 3 times a day, 7 days a week. We are located at 415 Broadway, Paducah, Kentucky. Call 270-444-3621 for more information.
2015, I'd relapsed, and in 2015 I started. I had a year clean. I was back at the Veterans Center, and I started working for Genesis, and that was 2015 was the first time I started working in recovery. So, and from there I have several episodes of relapse. I didn't really know anything about the 12 and 12 or the 12-step program until I got to Neartown. I worked at Genesis. They were a 12-step program, but really all I remember about that is all the sayings on the wall at the meetings and stuff. We handed out a sheet, you did it, you turned it in, we gave you the next step to look everything up and then hand it back in. So that was about the extent of the...
But you never filled out the sheet or... No,
they just would fill it out and bring it back. None of us really looked at it, so I didn't really remember anything about the AA program.
Yeah.
I worked for Genesis. I've worked for a faith-based at Redeemed and Restored. During that time, I was a volunteer. I was in recovery for several years at that time, so I had become a volunteer, and I worked for about 5 different entities to network and to provide services and just things like that. I was lucky with having veterans benefits that I was able to have an apartment and still be able to volunteer for all these places. Jeremiah's Mission, I helped my buddy Joe Foster, Jackie DeMarco, and Mike Robinson to start that there at Jeremiah's Mission. And so, yeah, I've got a lot of experience in the mental health and working for, addiction and substance use.
We've had Jackie and Joe on, haven't we? Have we had Joe on? I know we have
Jackie's
Jackie.
been on. Joe Foster, he's been on at the Pete 3 Fest briefly.
I didn't know you had Jackie on. I just saw her about a week ago. I took her fudge, and she ordered fudge and had me come down, and we hadn't seen each other in about 2 years, but I talked to her quite a bit. She's one of my favorite people.
I like Jackie. She was Michelle's sponsor, and then I've gone down and played the Hopkinsville Recover Festival with you out there a few times. That's cool, man.
Yeah, Jackie and I worked at Genesis together when she first got into recovery and stuff. So, I've known those cats for a good while. They were my support system in Hopkinsville. And actually, Jackie's the one that she did an intervention on me the last time I relapsed. And so
when did you go to Neartown?
So I initially went to Neartown in 22, and in January of 22, I'd relapsed in 21, and at Christmas time, that was my last time of going to jail. I spent Christmas in jail, and so the cat was out of the bag, now. So when they found out, they suspected, of course, but the cat was out of the bag, and Jackie and them had me go to Neartown. And that was in January of 22. I was there for about 6 weeks, and I left AMA. Found out that the medicine that I was on from VA was 3 times the amount any one person should be on for mental health meds, and it was causing basically, I won't say psychosis, but it caused me suicidal tendencies. Serotonin syndrome is what it would be called. So when I left, I tried to call back a month later and was like, I would come back, and they were like, nah, I don't think. Well, what I was hearing was like, no, you can't come back. You need a higher level of care. And what they told me, not what I was hearing, what they were telling me is that I needed to see about the maintenance of the medication that I was on. And that basically saved my life, because at that point, of course, I was like, how dare them, don't they know who I am? But I went through for real, I mean, don't you know who I am?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I ended up having a overdose and a suicide attempt. And so, and then I went to Rivendell to get, and it talks about that in the book about having to go in to hospitalized to get defogged. And so I went to Rivendell in Bowling Green for about 10 days to get all the medicines removed out of my system and in a safe place. And then they put me back on normal amounts of medication. And then I've been in recovery ever since. That was July 25th. In 2022. So ever since then, I've not had any relapse or anything. And speaking about being in recovery before, I never really knew anything about AA really until I got to Neartown. In Hopkinsville, I had sponsors and I worked the steps, but I don't really think they knew what they were doing, because I never heard anything about the first step, the unmanageability. That was never anything that was ever discussed working the steps before. Wow. And so whenever I found out the unmanageability, that stuff on the internal condition, the stuff that was really inside, that every time I was like, fuck it, and I'd hit that, big red button. And it was always because of this internal condition, and I didn't learn about that until I came to Neartown. So that was a
And you think
big
that
deal.
was the deciding difference in why you've been able to maintain it this time?
Well, I've been in therapy, for a long time, since the 6th grade. But when your parents are paying for the therapy, they're the ones that gets the outcome. So I never really knew anything, even though I'd been in therapy, about what was really wrong. And it wasn't until I got in trouble and having to go to drug court therapists and stuff that I started to learn that there was some underlying condition. But I didn't know that until I got to Neartown that it was called, the spirituality, the unmanageability. And it talks about that a lot in the book. About the things that were really wrong that made me want to use to begin with. Those were the things also when I was younger that made me want to act out, fight and break glass, try to, self-harm. All of that stuff was this unmanageability that I've grown up with ever since a child, and a lot of it has to do with trauma. But I never knew anything about that until
it's about learning the different tools on how to deal with those things.
Yeah.
You know, realizing that they're there is a huge step. And then instead of you self-medicating and running from them like we always have, like addressing them, working through them.
And, the whole wellness, mind, body, spirit, getting everything in tune.
I don't think that I would be in recovery right now if it wasn't for the fact of finding out what unmanageability, what that actually is, because that has been a key. And like you said, Sam, the three, mind, body, and spirit, all of that, the trifold of our disease or whatever. I'm a big proponent of that. I think I've seen you around, but never really known you in the years of my recovery till recently. I didn't really like you whenever I first saw you.
But
I don't really like
most
anybody.
people don't like me because they're jealous of my appearance.
That's it. That's definitely it.
I feel like I'm going to have to find a photo of when you come into treatment for everybody to know.
We're not talking about then. We're talking about
that's when I met you.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's talk about me for a second.
Oh, of course.
I love when I'm on the podcast and everybody. I was like one of their first people they met in recovery, and they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was going to come at some point. I was going to try to avoid it. I didn't want to call it out like I have before. I was going to wait till you, look at me.
So, I'd seen you, but I also knew, just like with my sponsor, I didn't know my sponsor at the beginning, but I knew his sponsor, which would have been my initial sponsor, but because of him being my sponsor being under him, I knew that I could trust him. Just like I'd seen people that were in my family tree of sponsor-sponsee relationships talk about you, and I would see them interacting with you. So in my mind, I knew that wasn't something, or that you were somebody, maybe I would meet eventually or see, but there was not a huge threat. And so I have, the trauma I have keeps me from interacting with a lot of people. And
I get that. I'm an introvert myself,
Well, you look fantastic.
Thank you. No, but naturally, I don't want to approach people. I'm not one of those. Yeah. My life is an open book, guys. Hey, I'm going to vomit my life on you.
More approachable.
No, exactly. No, I dress for comfortability. But so I too. It's unless I'm forced to meet with you, work with you. I say I'm going to be your sponsor or whatever. I'm your peer support. That way, I've gotten used to getting to know people in that way. But seeing somebody at the recovery walk, let's say, which I think saw you there a few times. I wouldn't just go.
No, you didn't, because I haven't been.
Oh, okay. Well, somewhere.
But you have seen me at other
functions.
Yes.
Whatever it was, I wouldn't just come up to you and be like, "Hello, my name's Matt. Who are you?"
Yeah, it's not really your thing.
That's not my thing.
Yeah.
I probably should be more outgoing, but I'd have to dress differently.
Yeah.
So, but we did get to meet each other at the Recovery Summit.
Yes.
Officially, I think.
Yeah.
And you were doing yoga.
Yeah, man.
Which I had forced Sam and Kevin to sign up for.
Yes.
And I thought that was a good experience. One, it was funny to watch them do it. And two, it really did loosen you up. You basically just took us through some breathing and light stretching.
My back felt so much better after that.
I know, man. The thing about that summit was that it was so cold, and then here we are in this room on this cold floor.
Look, it was worse the second day. You took your shoes off and you stepped on that floor. It was like, fuck, man. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, that was the downfall of
But
that
I do
place.
want to give you all a shout out for supporting me. That was something that I have to say that was stuck out in my mind when I was there, that you all did, and I didn't know all of you all at the time. So that did stick out in my mind, that you all came to support me. And I do appreciate that. And
the only reason I was there was because you were doing it, man.
Yeah.
And he played a part too, but it's Darren stuff.
Yeah.
I got to go.
Yeah. But that's really, that's a
but
really big thing,
support our people,
absolutely.
That's the thing about recovery to me, is just supporting each other. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. That's
what
it's all about.
So the Recovery Summit was very interesting to me. I did get to interact with you. And other people I networked while I was there. I was in the process of kind of moving things around in my schedule or in my life. At that time, I had just graduated in August with my yoga teacher training, which is the second yoga certification that I have. And so things were being moved around in my life, and so meeting you and and interacting with you all at the summit was really great. And watching you on stage try to talk in front of everybody, that was really great. I was trying to make you laugh a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, I was up there, I had my gloves on and my hat pulled
Man, it
down,
was though. It was so cold.
Freaking cold, man.
trying to answer
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was.
No, it was a
cold.
good. You know what? It will be remembered because of that. You know.
Oh
like,
yeah, but it was a great summit.
to
It's one of the
you,
better
but-
ones I've ever been
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, like a lot of the ones, the classes that we went to, the
Yes.
breakout sessions. You know,
Good
I
stuff.
learned a lot.
Yeah.
It was. I enjoyed it. Probably the most I've enjoyed any of them so
Yeah.
far. We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, did you know it's illegal to own just one guinea pig in Switzerland because they get lonely? Here at Turning Point, we don't want you to ever be lonely either. That's why we're open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Always feel free to come hang with our friendly staff, and don't forget your guinea pig. We're located at 415 Broadway Street, downtown Paducah.
One thing I have always wondered is who put the alphabet in alphabetical order. At Turning Point, our goal is to help you put your life back in order. If you struggle or have struggled with substance use disorder and are in need of help, come see us at 415 Broadway Street, Paducah, Kentucky, or call 270-444-3621 and sign up for peer support services with one of our friendly staff who have lived experience with addiction. Hope to see you soon.
So yeah, that was that's the first time that I've been to any kind of a convention, except when I went to the specialty court convention years ago when I worked for drug court. I also had worked for drug court in the times that I'd been in recovery. But yeah, so my certification. So what I'm doing now basically is I'm working for Turning Point at Mayfield. I really enjoy it. I feel like I'm able to reach more people. I got the first certification in 2023 in the beginning of that year for the Y12SR. That's the yoga of the 12-step recovery. It's a program designed to reach other demographics, kind of like what Sam does with the van. People that are not able to get services. And so also with the Y12SR, there's two parts. There's the practical and the intensive. The practical would be the physical part, the yoga, but the intensive is just where we are able to hold safe space for people, giving people a place to go or a meeting to go to that they feel comfortable, safe, that they're wanted and loved, to where they can relax and be able to share. So I think that's one of the things about being in the position that I am with my education, with my pursuit still of knowledge and trainings, is because I want to be able to offer those kinds of things. And so my move from where I was working into my new job or into the direction that I'm going is to be able to utilize the trainings and the education and the experience that I have to offer to more people and to reach more people. My second yoga training was this year. It's still this year, right? Yeah. So in January, I started the yoga teacher training, the first initial 200 hours, and graduated in August. That really opened up a whole new world for me as far as, again, back to what Sam was saying, that three-part fold, the spirituality that I started to see and observe, because I was new to the training and to this area. So being able to watch and observe the people that were in it, they were really supportive and loving and just, and so, yeah, the next training I just got dates today for my next training, which will start in March, I think, and won't end until September. I'll graduate with the next training in September. So I'm terribly excited about that. I'm terribly excited.
That's
about
really
it.
cool,
Yeah.
and I think it's going to be a good fit. Like you said, you're looking forward to use what you've learned and reach more people. That's one of the things I loved about when I first started at Turning Point is that, you can do whatever you want. Like, you can bring in your experience and you can be as creative as you want. Or if you want to learn about something, like this whole podcast came from me just wanting the desire to learn about recording and audio and video editing. I was like, sure, I didn't want to be the podcast host, but that just got thrown in my lap.
Well, yeah, you found the podcast stuff in the box, so
yeah,
it was on you.
And then and everybody who comes in, like, some people are better with like computer stuff, some people are better with outreach, some people are better, like Sam's more of a people person, or so we all have like our own set of skills that we bring into this.
Absolutely.
And then you are getting you're doing a yoga class sometime soon.
It's going to be in January. I think we're going to do it. Tuesdays was the best day, I said, for in general during the week. So I think we're going to start it on Tuesday. Not sure exactly what day. It's like the second or third week. But we're going to go from there and see how that works and see what kind of thing we're going to do. And so with that, finding out yesterday the new training that I've got, I also am going to, the lady that came to do our trauma-informed care yoga during our training this past year. I had talked to her a little bit. Well, I found out that she's from the studio that I go to. She's doing yoga for the drug court yoga, and so I'm going to assist her, but more so, I'm going to look at the way that she does this. Trauma-informed care yoga is different than regular yoga because a lot of people it's designed for people with PTSD and just other forms of abuse or whatever. So I'm going to observe today after this, and then another time next week I'm going to go. So that way, whenever I do the yoga for us here, that I'll be more informed on how to approach that. I don't want to do regular yoga with people that don't want to get down in certain positions, or for me, I don't like to be pressed up against a wall where I don't have an exit, and things like that. So people don't like to be touched, and I don't like to be touched. So that was another thing in yoga that we were able to be comfortable enough to say that and still get through a good session. So with that, I found out that the Drug Court Yoga does yoga at the studio that I am affiliated with. And so I'm not sure what kind of space that we have here, but I'm going to work at trying to get some space for us. And with that, I'll add that also with the dates of the thing, I was asked also if I wanted a scholarship for my training this year. And I was like, yes, and so I've also been given a job that I'll start on the 5th at the studio. So awesome. That's another thing, so none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the fact that, I went to near town, that I found out that I needed, help because of the medication. Then I got the help, and then got a sponsor and worked the steps and have continually to seek, all this I've done since I've been up here. The funny thing is that whenever I went to Neartown the first time, we had a class on goals, and I'd set all these goals. Well, until when we went to the Recovery Summit, I had just accomplished and completed and reached all the goals that I'd set for myself. So when we went to Recovery Summit, that was something new. I was like, oh, and I'm starting to get more things. So I get to make a lot. Some more goals to set. So I'm pretty pleased with where I'm at, the area, Paducah and Mayfield, and just I think that this is going to be a huge thing, so I'm terribly excited about it.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
I also encourage the people that work at Turning Point to also come and participate in yoga.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Reluctantly.
Just putting it
No, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Like, I've never, other than coming to Recovery Summit to do that yoga session with you, I've never been in a yoga session, but I have adapted a lot of yoga moves and stretches into my morning calisthenics routine because of my back pain issues and stuff.
Yeah, you're
like
looking
that.
kind of fit. I was wondering how you go about that.
Well,
he exercises a lot.
Hard work,
eating right.
Yeah, kind of.
Because I too am a big
He's not
proponent
been
of
eating
body,
right
mind,
lately.
and spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, the holidays are rough, bro. But look, I'm dialing it back in. As I've said, probably ever since 2020, but this year,
6-pack year.
2026, washboard 2026.
Come on.
Here we
Come
go.
on, somebody.
2026, the 6th.
I'm 48 years old. Do you think I can get it?
I thought it was 49.
It's possible? No, I just turned 48.
One of my favorite things is to put an extra year on back because it drives, every time he says 48, I'm like, no, he's 49.
I feel like I'm healthy and look pretty good for my age.
You look great for your age, Bub.
Fantastic.
Like if I'm being honest, you're aging
Thanks,
gracefully,
bud.
Bub.
Yeah. Look at that, a little honesty from Sam. You never know what miracles will happen.
It's a Christmas miracle.
So you're going right after this to the drug court yoga thing?
Yes, I'm going down. I didn't realize until today that it was down at the studio where
It's just right down the street.
And so it's on the 17th, but on 17th and Broadway. So I'm going down there right after this, assist with the trauma-informed care, learn and observe how I can better help people with the trauma. And
I'm looking forward to you doing some more yoga once it gets started here,
Yeah, for sure.
Because, I'm for real. Like, that one day, like, my back popped, and I was just like, oh, that's
so now that I've got the 200 training out of the way, the next series of trainings or the next 300 hours is kind of like the focus areas. I'm really into the meditation, the breath work, trauma-informed care adjustments, and I believe that, I've done quite a bit of that when I was working at Neartown, and the people that I worked with there, the breath work is probably the most important thing in all of it.
Oh yeah, man. That's where I got into real meditation myself, was when I started working at Neartown. Like I'd always done group meditation. You're reading a book and you talk about it, right? Yeah. This was like real, breath work, meditation, and man, that made a big difference even in my own recovery when I worked there.
Breathing is essential.
Well,
for life, for your brain function, for health. And doing it properly is a whole other game.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like I initially started yoga in 2015, and it was just because I had asthma. I've been intubated 11 times. I was trying to get some kind of control over my breath to help with my asthma, and I had no idea that it is what it is. I didn't even know anything about real meditation until I got into recovery, because that 11th step, it talks about premeditation. The first line of the chapter in the 12 and 12, it says our primary means of a relationship or a connection to a higher power is through meditation. Mm-hmm. And so I had no idea all this was connected. And the training that I had this last year, really through the physical, breaking down to the physical part, you become very susceptible and very open to what is out there as far as breath work and other ways to recovery. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, man. I'm excited for it. Look at that, man. Over 30 minutes.
Oh, my gosh. It must be time to go.
It's getting close. My stomach is telling me it's time to go. We came straight from a training.
Yeah, we've been in 3 hours of training right into a podcast. And
awesome.
Yeah.
But this was well, and I'm glad to get to know you a little better and excited for what you're going to bring to the team.
Absolutely.
And the people you're going to be able to help. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
So we'll have to come back and do another podcast after I've done a few sessions of yoga here at Turning Point, so we can offer that service to other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And go to Turning Point Facebook. We'll probably post when these yogas will be.
I'm sure they will.
Which Tuesdays they'll be starting, times and places. Yep. So
go team.
Yeah, watch Darren do the instruction and Matt do yoga well and me struggle.
I'm gonna use Matt as the
yoga
model. Comedy.
So
this is how you do it, Matt. Do you mind to get into this posture? Everybody follow Matt.
Yeah, there you go. I'm down. All right, check us out on YouTube. Listen to our audio versions on Apple, Google, Spotify, Podbean, and as always, stay grateful.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction or in recovery and needs guidance, speak with Turning Point's team of peer support specialists by calling 270-444-3621. You are not alone, and we are proof that recovery is possible.